Coach, one day left before the Capital One Orange Bowl. What is left for your team to do in preparation?
Well, it's Friday today, which for us, I couldn't tell you what day of the week it is, but it's Friday today. So, we're into our Friday routine. We're going to, do all the activities, festivities we have today during the day, but at 2:30, we lock it in like we normally would on any other Friday, get into kicking meetings, our offense-defense meetings, our walkthrough, our specialty walkthrough. Then we, Friday night pregame meal, our best Fridays in football. We have a pregame meal, movies. They'll watch games tonight, get a little bed check, and then our regular Saturday game routine tomorrow.
We've got two microphones here in the room. Andrew has one on the left, Rebecca on the right, my left and right. If you get their attention, they'll come over, bring the microphones, and we will go from there. Start with our first question. Rebecca will go right on the, we'll go out here in the first row all the way on the right.
Dan, I know you've talked in the past about each season has a shelf life, but with this one coming to an end and how special it was, does it make it any more difficult, or is there more reflection on this one maybe than other ones?
No, I think just for us, it has this team will be laid to rest tomorrow night at midnight, right as we're bringing in the new year. And, I think in everybody's memory, I think this is a special year for everybody, a special group of young men. And, I think they've really raised and set a new standard for us. But, I think our guys, this is the last opportunity for these guys ever to play together, last opportunity for this team ever to play together. And I think they know that, and they're going to enjoy it and enjoy one last time out there on the field.
Go directly in front of you on the inside aisle.
Coach, you played against Georgia Tech in 2008, 2009, and in 2008, Josh Nesbitt was the quarterback and they had a bunch of running yards. I think 400, over 400. And the following year, Nesbitt passed the ball. I think it was 274 yards, and Demarius Thomas had a huge game. What differences do you notice in this year's Tech's offense from 5 years ago, specifically between the quarterbacks, Nesbitt and Justin Thomas?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there in 2008, so I wasn't involved in that game. But in 2009, I was there. It's kind of a funny game. We ran option up and down the field. They couldn't stop us, and they threw the ball all over us with Demarius Thomas. So, it was kind of one of those days. I think we ran for over 300 yards and shut down their running game, and we didn't throw the ball very well, and they threw it all over the field on us. So it's kind of an interesting deal. But I think both teams very, very different. I think back then Paul had been there for a little while, established his program. I think we've kind of caught up to that level now. And you look at both teams very different from that game. But when you look at their roster, what they're able to do, he's got guys in there that run the system very, very well. They have a playmaking quarterback to me that's dangerous. Not just running the option, obviously, which is what he needs to be able to do, but also extending plays and making those outside-the-box plays when it all breaks down, being able to make something else happen outside of the framework of the play makes them a pretty difficult team to stop.
Then it's always ideal to get off to a fast start, but is that even more so against a Georgia Tech team who's kind of predicated on playing up early and doesn't give you a lot of possessions?
Well, I think it is because, and part of it is, like you said, you don't get many possessions against them. And, you get off to a slow start, you only going to have a couple opportunities that you can score points. And so for us, you got to start fast. You really want to start fast both sides of the ball, especially in a bowl game because, we haven't played for over a month. The confidence that comes with that, if you can get off to a fast start, execute on offense, defense, and the kicking game early, I think that builds the confidence in the players. They get right back into their game mode, right into their routine, and that's what you want to be able to do.
Does this game remind you at all of the Arkansas game, or can you pull anything from that?
Ooh. I don't know. Except for the fact that I think Arkansas is an excellent football team and Georgia Tech's an excellent football team. That's about the only similarities for me.
We're going to go one row behind you. We're going right.
Dan, with this bowl game, is there maybe any other bowl game that this reminds you of in terms of, preparation, kind of what it means to your program? Anything similar? Is this kind of a different animal altogether?
A lot of it, to me, I think it's getting into some new territory. Goes back to the first bowl game I had here at Mississippi State. Played we played Michigan in Jacksonville in the Gator Bowl, and I think when you look at that, that was the first New Year's Day bowl game in a long time for the program and for the university, and kind of had a special feel to it. And obviously we haven't been in the Orange Bowl since 1941, so I think it kind of does feel as another first, another a new step, a new standard set within the program. So it really does have that feeling that we've set a different standard again. As we did a couple years ago at that other game, that we've set that standard very, very high for the program and for the future of what we can accomplish.
On the left, about 3 right back.
I'm curious, so many questions I guess you get about Tech's offense, but I'm curious, looking at the other side, who jumps off the film at you when you look at that?
On the offensive side?
On Tech's defensive side.
Oh, I mean, their corners to me are great playmakers out there on the edge, and allow them a lot of flexibility to help stop the run with everybody else, because they can lock you down, they can play man coverage, and then their opportunity, their playmaking opportunity that they get with creating tight windows for quarterbacks to throw in, causing interceptions, and I think there's only one other team in the country who scored more defensive touchdowns than they have this year. So that's what makes it really a huge challenge. I know their offense is pretty daunting, but they don't need a lot of help, but their defense certainly gives it to them. And and those are things that you spend so much time worrying about containing the offense that all of a sudden they get a defensive touchdown or they create an interception or a turnover and take a possession away from you. You have so few to start with in their corners to set that tone.
Inside out, second row.
Yeah, Dan, you're 3+ weeks now since figuring out or getting this matchup. How much closer are you to being able to figure out how to defend the triple option than you were then?
Well, I think you just spend a lot of time, you research it, and for us, you just got to try to be sound. Put your guys in a position, be disciplined every single play, making sure you're taking away the fullback, the quarterback, and the pitch player. And then the bigger challenge on that is defeating the cut blocks, getting off the blocks, and tackling in the open field, which, it's hard to simulate their speed of how fast they execute that offense. So, I think, we've worked to put a plan together, and, now we got to go execute it at a high level.
Along the same lines, was there one game you watched, maybe Florida State, that might approximate your speed on defense to what you saw in film?
It's hard to say because, we don't cross over a lot against those teams. So, that's one of the neat things in bowl games and challenging is, you don't really know how it's going to play out because, of so few crossovers. I mean, I guess Georgia, they played Georgia in the SEC, which you look at. We didn't get to play Georgia, so you don't really know what type of team Georgia has this year from our end of it. But, you get to look at that team, that game, and see how they handle that, and a team that's within our conference.
One row right behind.
Hi, Coach.
How you doing?
Good. As far as Paul Johnson goes, he seems like a low-key, yet also somewhat intense and serious guy, personality. Outside of football, what's your impression of him? I heard you knew him a little bit from Reynolds Lake House.
Yeah, well, my impression of him is this: is you don't want to get on the golf course with him in any sort of competitive fashion. He's certainly going to have an edge over you that way. Don't let him tell you he's even a 3 or 4 handicap. He's a scratch, I think. So, no, you know what? I think Paul. Every time I've met with him, talked with him, anytime you have interaction with him, I think he's just a first-class individual. He's serious about football, loves what he does, very passionate about the game, extremely knowledgeable. So he's a great guy to talk about football. But also somebody that, can go out and do other things and have fun. And, I think a lot of people look at all of us sometimes as coaches and, think, boy, they always have that scowl on their face. And we actually, if you put us away in some little quiet area, I have my little escape up there at Reynolds Plantation. If I'm up there and I'm escaping there to my lake, you'll see me with a big smile on my face and relaxed, and not that scowl you see on the sidelines on TV all the time.
What about him? Also?
Yeah, because he's usually cleaning up on the golf course out there and whipping up on everybody, so he always has a big smile on his face. I got to get him out there and try to go water skiing and surfing and all behind the boat and see how he does that way.
Is he, to coach against him, is he pretty methodical? I mean, he pretty much does the same thing. Is he very predictable to coach against? Does he ever throw in some wrinkles?
I think they do. I think the one challenge is he's so versed and so within his offense. When you look at somebody that started from the beginning within that offense, you have the answers. A lot of times people learn the offense, or you have the playbook. Hey, you can go get the playbook and try to teach an offense off the playbook, but you might not have the answer to every question. You know the what to do, and you might know how to do it, but you don't know why you're always doing it. He has the answers for the why. So even though you know what they're going to do, you know how they're doing it. He understands all the whys. So every time you make an adjustment, he has an adjustment for your adjustment. Because any time you get in and put an offense together right from the beginning, you've kind of gone through the growing pains and see, hey, why do you want to run this play against this specific defense or blitz? A lot of guys that just get the playbook, they don't know. He's been through it. He said, well, because back in 1998, when we faced this defense, they stopped this play, so we want to go to this, which defeats that defense. And when you have that much experience within your offensive scheme, it's a lot easier to make adjustments.
And we're going to go one more row back, two more rows back.
Coach, how does playing in the SEC West division help you prepare for a team like Georgia Tech?
Well, I think, obviously they're one of the top teams in the country. And, I think the one big thing you have for our guys, we play in big games every single week within the SEC West. You're playing against I think we played 4 top 10 teams already this year. We played 5 top 25 teams on the schedule. And so, I think just the experience of playing in big games and big stages against the top teams in the country, week in and week out on that side of the league, certainly helps you when you get into the bowl season. When you're playing it, everybody that is playing here, at this level of the bowl game is one of the premier teams in the country. And so the fact that we've been able to play those games before certainly helps getting on this stage.
Front row on the right.
For a lot of the players that really helped turn the Mississippi State around and helped succeed, whether it's Preston Smith, Malcolm Johnson, Ben Beckwith, the list goes on, and even maybe Bernard McKinney and Dak Prescott, it could be their final game with you. Have you thought about what you might say to them, and if so, what will you say to them before the game tomorrow?
We're going to tell them, this is it. This is one last time that this team gets to go take the field. They've done so much for the program, had such a special year. We'd love to finish it out the right way. And, and I want to tell those guys, after the game, we'll talk. Every one of the seniors get up and get to say their goodbye in the locker room. But I think they've done so much, not just for our football program, but for our university and for the state of Mississippi. And, first time that we've been playing football for over 100 years, but never been ranked number 1 before. Now Bulldog fans can say we've done that. The AP told me there are only, in 50 years, only 27 teams have ever been ranked number 1 in the AP poll for even 1 week. And we're one of those 27 teams in the last 50 years. There won't be any new ones this year. All 4 teams in the top 4 have already done that. So, I think they've done so much for our university that, we're just proud of all of that. One of the things I'm even more proud of is almost every one of those guys you've named has already earned their degree. They're actually alums of the university as well as great football players. And I think that's very special. I'm just proud of what they've accomplished. And set them, the university, for up in the future, and the foundation they've built for success in their own personal futures.
Go all the way to the right.
Dan, coaches like they find an offense that they're comfortable with, and they like to coach, and they'll coach any offense, but they find some set that they really like. It seems to me you've got the right skilled people and the right pieces in this offense for the same type of offense that you coached when you were at Florida, so successful. And it seems to have really clicked for you now because you've got the right pieces. You've got the quarterback who can do the run, use his leg and throw it. You got a good running back, you got good receivers. So you have all the right pieces, it seems to me. Has that made it a little easier for you this year, trying to put it together?
Absolutely. You know, as you said, I don't. There's no not. If there was a perfect offense, everybody would run the exact same offense. And you know, more importantly, people believe in their offense. I believe in the offense that we run. You know, I mean, you want to call it a spread or a spread option or whatever nickname. You know, you know, Paul's running the. It's really not the wishbone anymore. The double slot, triple option, and you know. But, you know, when you look at the two teams, I think you have two programs that really believe in their systems, you know, believe in what they do. And I think for us, you know, we've came in and we've built the program. We build it around the players that we can get, and we've started to get a lot of the players in position for us to run the scheme that we want to run. You know, we have tough one-on-one matchups across the board. You know, we have a quarterback that can beat you with his arm and his leg, a running back that can beat you running or catching. You know, and then in the outside and the perimeter, we have guys that either can jump over you and make plays and are tough to beat you one-on-one, or they're hard to tackle in the open field one-on-one, so that we can try to create advantageous matchups.
You want to go, Andrew?
Here's, you came to